Hello, I'm here to complete my video audio for my SPED 660 called Methods and Strategy Notebook. First of all, I chose PowerPoint. I chose PowerPoint just simply because PowerPoint is so easily to comprehend, to look at, to focus, easy to use, easy to follow, anywhere from kindergarten up to wherever college. It's used in all type of corporations, major corporations, companies, industrial locations. It doesn't take a whole lot of technology or technical experience or knowledge to use PowerPoint. So I chose PowerPoint because there's a lot of advantages on it. I mean, it's easy to follow, easy to understand. I mean, I understand it does have some disadvantages, with like everything has some disadvantages. Sometimes people just don't update their information enough for PowerPoints. They leave them there and then they use the same ones every year. I have seen that. So that we work myself in corporations and companies. I have seen the same PowerPoint for years. The federal government is a prime example of that. They use the same PowerPoints for the 30, 40 years. They don't change unless the technology changes and they're forced to change. But anyway, let me start with universal design. Universal design. When I first heard that word, universal design, I'm still somewhat new in this area of teaching in a classroom setting to the learning disabled. But universal design, I think of everything, the whole universe. I mean, you can bring in everything to universal design. That's what I think of universal design. Um, it's a traditional classroom. I mean, it covers all areas, whether it's reading, writing, math, transitions, everything. So that's what I think of when I think of universal design. I mean, it offers feedback for students. I mean, you have all the tiers there, tier one, tier two, tier three, with anything for whether it be learning disabilities, hearing impaired, sight problems. Universal design has some type of answer for you. If they don't have an answer, they'll tell you where to go. Anyway, I mean, that's what I think of universal design. I really enjoyed universal design. It's a huge area to cover. I covered as much as I could. I couldn't cover it all. I mean, it's just impossible to cover it all in one class, and you have other things within that class to do. Secondly, I looked at reading. That's second on the board. Reading, all kids should know how to read. At some certain point, they should know how to read. Whether it takes them, let's say, I mean, whether they read differently or it takes them longer to read, they should know how to read. Because they can't read, they can't write. And they can do their math, they can understand the instructions from the teacher or their parents or the one else at home. So everyone needs to teach. And there's different styles. People learn differently. We got dyslexia, students that's dyslexia. We have students that's read slower, some read faster, some read medium speed. So what a teacher needs to do is teach a child um, how to follow in a book, textbook, or paper, or whatever they're reading. Weekly readers, if they're still using them. Use a ruler, use your finger, use something to guide your eyes so your eyes guide along with everything. Next of all, um, strategy two is what I looked at. You need to do a lot of reading. The only way to get better is something to do a lot of. If I play a lot of basketball, I'm gonna get better at that. I do a lot of reading, I'm gonna get better at that. I do a lot of math, I'm gonna get better at that. So it may not be my major fields, math or science or whatever, but I'll be better at it if I do more of it. Everyone's different. Science, whatever. Uh, so writing is next here. So again, writing goes back to reading. If I can't read good, I can't write good. So what the teacher needs to do to make sure when I get out of their particular class that I can read and I can kind of write, because LDs have a particular way of doing things, and we all do, for that matter. So there's 6 principles I have here for writing. You have to do a lot of writing to get better at it. Then you got to get to your punctuation, your periods, your commas, all your marks that goes into writing. To me, question marks, whatever. If you're writing down, I saw the other day someone was writing a sentence, they put a period there, but actually it was a question. It should be a question mark there. But anyway, you should know how to write. Next of all is math. Everyone's not going to be a mathematician. I mean, myself, I love math. Teachers need to go slowly with students on their math, their decimals, especially when they're a young age, because those decimals fall in 100th place and 1,000th place, and then going down to the 10th place and the 5th place, so forth. So they need to know how to do math. I think it's simple enough to start with the adding of math, then do the subtracting, multiplication is next, and so forth. Because with the multiplication, it's going to extend out. I see students all the time getting their math decimals in the wrong position. So that has been a problem I have seen. Transitions. Students have the support of the schools during transition, but when they get on their own, they don't have that support of the schools or the state, city, or whatever, and laws. So I think this needs to be taught more, how to transition yourself into another, at the next stage. Once I finish high school, where am I going? I'm going to college, I'm going to junior college, I'm going to community college, I'm going to take a trade, I'm not going to school at all, I'm starting my own business, I'm doing something. I need to know how to transition myself and handle myself. Next of all is social studies and science. Social studies and science, well, social studies I call, or sociology I call a soft science, and science itself is a hard science. So they're both kind of taught the same, but in elementary, but they're a lot different in high school, because biology, chemistry, all that is a hard science, whereas social studies is not a hard science. It's a social science. What I'm trying to say, it's more of a soft science. You learn about the social life of different things. Executive functions, organizational skills, executive functions. Everyone should know about executive functions. You need to stay organized all the time. If you're not organized, it's going to be kind of rough for you. So executive functions is another important area. It's a fundamental area. Self-monitoring yourself. Teachers' grade starting at kindergarten. How do you handle yourself? Are you neat around your areas? That's another important area. Then next is response to intervention, which is a big area. RTI. RTI is where you have all these tiers and so forth. That RTI is almost impossible to cover it in one area, but it can be like it's a framework to be proactive and to make decisions. It's driven to make decisions for everyone that's looking for some type of decision. Students to improve their learning and performances. RTI has something there. Put you in different tiers. You work your way up. You get better. Move on. Next is IEPs and case conferences. I am familiar with IEPs and case conferences, not necessarily at the teaching level, because I have worked with the handicapped in other areas. I have worked with all type of individuals, manic depressants, to I did groups, counseling groups, even alcoholic groups for that matter. And they had IEPs, some of those individuals I had to go to in case conferences. We had psychologists there, the director, assistant director, and so forth was there to make a decision. And always, I'll never rush nobody out of case conference or IEP. Make sure everyone's there, supposed to be there, and they're there on time, because you don't want to miss anything. Because you miss something, then you could miss something that's important out of a child's life, or the adult's life, or whatever you're involved in. Next of all is technology. Technology, again, going back to technology, that was one of the reasons why I picked out PowerPoint. PowerPoint's, like I say, doesn't change. But when you're teaching a student with technology, you need to teach that student what works for them, or as close as you can. Teach them. Uh, Even if you have to utilize electronic worksheets or phonetic spelling software, whatever's there that you think will assist that student. Talking calculators, drawing calculators, whatever. Um, so this has really been a challenging course for me. I did learn a lot. I learned more out of this course as I ever learned in any course I ever had. I had a lot of courses in life, but this was really challenging. I thought the professor challenged me. I thought my fellow students challenged me. I thought everyone challenged me and brought the best out of me. Um, in the meantime, I was doing this and I was doing my dissertation, so I was really a busy person. And I've been challenged in both areas. I think one course after the other one and vice versa. Because my writing was okay skills. Sometimes I didn't put in there what I needed to. I would never advise no one to do a master's and a PhD at the same time. But hopefully I get through this and I get to the next course and hopefully I'll be fine. Thank you. Okay.